Back in November, there was a tragic and deadly mass shooting in Texas. 26 congregants were killed in that shooting, and it happened in Sutherland Springs, Texas. Now, recently, 2 conspiracy theorists showed up to this very church and started harassing some of the individuals who were victimized by this shooting, some of the individuals who lost family members during this shooting. Robert Ussery, who's 54, founded a conspiracy website known as SideTorn, and his partner Jody Mann, who's 56, is referred to as Conspiracy Granny online. The 2 of them showed up to the church and were promptly arrested as a result of harassing the pastor of this church. The pair believed the church shooting was staged by accomplices of the government. Ussery continually yelled and screamed and hollered and told me, this is the pastor, he was gonna hang me from a tree and pee on me while I'm hanging. He said, your daughter never even existed. Show me her birth certificate. Show me anything to say she was here. I just told him there was enough evidence already visible, so if he chooses not to see that, how would I know he would believe anything else? Now, the conspiracy theorist was arrested during a White Lives Matter rally in Austin 2 years ago. He has a lengthy arrest history from the 1980s and 1990s for burglary, driving while intoxicated, assault, and also evading arrest.
So he was at a White Lives Matter rally. That is surprising. Not. Okay, so here's the most important part. Frank Pomeroy, the pastor involved here, Ussery attacked him talking about his daughter because his 14-year-old daughter was killed in the massacre. These guys are making a terrible mistake. And I don't want anyone to misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying this with a wink and a nod. I'm saying it because I'm actually deeply concerned. Look, this is America, man. You go to rural Texas and you ask the wrong guy about his dead 14-year-old daughter. And you're gonna come to find out that gun violence in America is very, very real. So now this is a great guy, this pastor, and he's a much better man than I am, better man than a lot of people are. And he let it go, and he did the right thing. He called the authorities. He waited until they got there, and then they took action. But they keep picking at these wounds, and they keep going to the site of one massacre after another, and yelling at the parents, yelling at the survivors, yelling at the family members. Man, they're gonna. How many people can you yell at in this country about their dead kids before trouble comes calling? It's a terrible, terrible thing to do, and also a terrible idea for themselves.
So I do believe that we have a huge problem in this country with mental health that goes untreated, undiagnosed, untreated, and that's partly because of our failing healthcare system. And then when you couple that with known conspiracy theorists who push ideas like the Newtown shooting being a false flag operation, well then those who have mental health issues are gonna buy it, and they're gonna go out and carry out violence in some cases, or in the very least go out and harass people who lost family members, harass the very people who were victimized by these mass shootings. What is wrong with people, right? I mean, we are now putting some of the most dangerous people who push these conspiracy theories on a pedestal. They get to say whatever they want. They incite people. They encourage them to go out and harass others. I mean, these are not, like, this pastor and those congregants don't deserve any type of harassment whatsoever. Let them grieve, leave them alone. For the love of God, I wish that some people like Alex Jones would take a step back and think about the insane pain and suffering he's causing to victims of these crimes. And he doesn't care. I mean, he's making his money, he's doing the damage. He doesn't care. He doesn't see people as people. He sees them as dollar signs, and if he gets to say whatever he wants to say and make money off of it, he's gonna say it.
So earlier in the show, we were talking about reality shows and how gross they've become, and tragedy porn, etc. And they profit off of people's misery and suffering. And they put these people in the Coliseum, and we all look at it and are entertained by it. Well, this is another layer of this, and much worse even. So guys who make money off of egging unstable people on. Oh yeah. Oh, they're coming to drink your children's blood. They control the media and the banks. There's human pig hybrids. There's lizard people, and the government controls everything in the globals. Unless, by the way, Trump is in the government, in which case the government is awesome. Curious, okay? And so they egged these guys on, and they went not only to Sutherland Springs, where 26 people were massacred inside a church. They also went to Parkland, Florida. They went to Sandy Hook. They even went to the Boston Marathon. And they went to Las Vegas, where the biggest massacre in modern history, at least, happened in America. And they go and harass victim after victim. And the people who egged them on, no conscience whatsoever. They're like, oh yeah, oh you guys are right, man. The government did it. They're all crisis actors. They're all fake. Go make sure you bother them. And how do you sleep at night, man? There is good and evil. It's not always easy to discern, and it is a spectrum, and most of the people are in the middle, right? But there are some bad guys in the world, and they have no morality at all, and they'll do anything for a buck. They'll do anything for attention. And not only are they hurting the victims, but they're gonna get these guys hurt too. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.